Pleasure and pain. As an example, the body feels pleasure and pain. Take away pleasure. The body only feels pain. And then there's a philosophical, theoretical explanation. Or the body only feels pleasure. Now take for example someone who's abused. Now take for example someone who's married to someone wealthy, stays at home, never does much else than plastic surgery and going out to eat. And the other person only knows pain and suffering from the abuser. The brain doesn't feel pain. The brain has a headache, chemicals disrupt some blood vessels. The skull gets totally removed from the top, or a craniotomy, and the cerebral cortex starts to get touched. There's no pain. The pain gets sent from the spinal cord up to the brain from the body. Cut a finger, the pain goes up, it gets processed. Oh, pain there. Doctor. Lightning fast. And so how does the brain feel an emotion? How does the brain feel sad, happy, or scared with cortisol? Chemicals. Processed stimulus. But there's this common belief system with emotions being felt. A hand can touch a fabric and it feels good, it's soft. The brain's getting the signals and language is describing what the hand's doing. A finger gets hurt. Cortisol, need to fix the problem. Blood, stimulus. Emergency room, stitches, the brain decides, and the body goes. There's so many people walking around nowadays in mental health and in the social world, feeling and knowing so much, describing and providing needed information. But nobody ever talks about the chemicals. Nobody ever talks about those folks who just go around all day looking for happiness, searching for danger so they can feel, so they can have the consciousness stimulated. And then what to do with the chemicals? Okay, language, hand gesture behavior. And especially in this system with all of these processes people and folks have, trying to get the brain to feel, trying to get the brain to do what's not explained. And there is the problem, the dissonance. Going so far trying to figure out, why would someone try to get someone to feel their brain? Psychology, psychiatry, rich people, poverty, suffering, violence. Nowadays, time, energy. Recognizing the chemicals eliminates this constant and unrelenting focus on feeling, and allows the brain and the body to have the communication it needs to figure out the chemicals, to figure out the cortisol, to understand the lack of serotonin, dopamine, endorphins. Rather than making every day a happy-go-lucky paradise euphoria, saying hi to everyone, loving each and every single person, drinking from the sunrise, smoking cigarettes until exhaustion and sleep. Every day, every night, every single calendar number, year in and year out. There's no communication in this explanation. There is only going from one drop to the next drop, to the next drop, to the next drop, to the next blood, to the next signal, to the next signal, to the next language, to the next face, to the next thought. Like a wolf hunting, knowing where it's going, what it's getting, and how it's going to get it. It's going to eat it. It's going to kill it for the nutrition and the food. And then the wolf lives as a wolf. The human goes and plays the good neighbor, plays the wise old war veteran who likes to just hang out and get wasted, whose clear thinking and cigarette smoke fills everyone with laughter and love and peace. And then the social parts to what is getting discussed now doesn't make as much sense. When considering the excitement for everyone and all loving one another. When the communication with the brain and the body starts to be a part of the discussion, because these aren't people with such fast communication and signal processing that they're out helping one another with these kinds of parts of the body and the brain. And at the same time, declaring they know what is best. Chemicals are signals going nowhere when the brain and the body are not working together. When people are being social to have more of the benefit from the dopamine, the serotonin, and the cortisol from the hormones, making someone feel strong and powerful when they're smoking that cigarette and drinking that whiskey and that beer. And they're being benefited to keep on doing their habit, to keep on with the behavior and the reliance on the chemicals and the excitement from the chemicals. Chemicals being felt from the stimulus. Chemicals not being signal processed, not being understood with the body and the brain, but being sought after as a stimulus. Imagine blowing up a balloon with helium, 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 helium until it gets so big and then expands and breaks. Attempt 2. Go out to the limits decided the first experiment, and there's no break. There's no bursting. The person holds the balloon and sucks in the helium through their mouth, getting every last drop of that substance, that air. And then they repeat, or then they process. They figure out the signal, what's happening, what's occurring, what they learned. And unfortunately, a lot of times, people get addicted. Getting that chemical stimulus, and like the balloon, pop, or vomit.